Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast, Christmas edition. Once again, you're with Amy.
This is Shane.
Hey, so this will be a nice change from coming off of the last one we talked about.
I hope so. I'm glad to hear you say that. I actually was.
I'm a little bit more optimistic about this one.
Okay, all right. Well, I would see. So we are going to disagree because I'm a lot more optimistic about this one. This is my favorite one I've seen so far. I mean, there hasn't been many, but
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we'll get into it. So what do you want? So what we're talking about today? Or you want me to do it?
So we are talking about the Santa Summit 2023 Hallmark movie.
I like the way you say. Yeah, I say 2023, and the way I say 2020, it sounds really terrible when I'm listening to it back. It sounds awful. Go ahead.
And it stars Hunter King, Benjamin Hollingsworth. So I should say Hunter King plays Jordan. Benjamin Hollingsworth plays Liam. Amy Groening,
I think is, so number one bummer, a spoiler for it. She's fantastic in this movie. She's amazing. And I couldn't find a stinking interview with her to find out how to say her name. But if she says anything like Matt Groening, who's the creator of The Simpsons,
they're related.
Yeah, well, if they are, well then, I looked that up and it said like uncle, like her uncle or something, I think. But I couldn't get confirmation on that.
Well, she plays Ava, and then Stephanie Sy plays Stella. Dan DeJagger plays Mac, and Rodrigo Belfus plays Freddie, and Adam Hertig plays Ben.
Normally, I give you a hard time for announcing the entire cast of the movie because there's just no point. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think everybody in this has a role to play. They do a really good job of it. Like, one of my favorite things about the movie, before we get into it, I suppose, is that the bit players in this are awesome. Every little character they meet, the Dasher that gives them the ride all over the place.
Oh yeah, well that's Eric Athavale.
They're all great, right? They're all like, oh, what a cool little character you ran into here. They're not nobodies with throwaway lines. They're funny. Like the Dasher, in the case of the guy that gives him the ride at the end, he's got like a little life example to give him, like an example, like a life lesson that he teaches her or whatever. Like makes her, he gives her the what did you say in the last one? The chutzpahs. You didn't say it was chutzpah. You said chutzpah or something.
Wait. Before you go off on that, I always like to give props to those characters. So Hunter King, who plays Jordan, who is the lead in this movie, is sisters with Joey King, who, if anybody is familiar with Joey King, has been in the Kissing Booth series movies, not necessarily on Hallmark. Right. And she's actually older than her sister Joey, but boy, they could pass as twins. I mean, they are just
you think so?
Very similar with their features. Yeah. And then Benjamin Hollingsworth.
Yeah, you've talked about him already.
Is one that we've seen just recently in one of our fall movies that we
it was Love Under the Olive Tree.
Love Under the Olive Tree, and he is also seen in, if you watch the Netflix series Virgin River. Once again, he is the character that plays in there. And
what's the character's name he plays in
there? Oh my goodness.
Don't sweat it.
Yeah, you're gonna bring me down that path, but I was surprisingly very happy to see this character that he played, honestly, better than Love Under the Olive Tree. I thought his character.
I agree with that completely. I like this more than Love Under the Olive Tree. I like Love Under the Olive Tree more than you did, but it's much more typical Hallmark. This was a little less typical Hallmark and more like a sort of a silly, anybody could have made it. I like it. I think the only thing about this movie that is different, not bad, is is that it's much more modern. Like I think I told our daughter on last night, Olivia, I think you'll like this one. It's a little bit, it skews a little younger. Not, look, take me out. I'm thinking of myself now. Take me out to a log cabin in the middle of nowhere and it's just us 40 somethings. not like that. It's a group of young girls, which is a good segue, but let me back up. I like to give the director some credit if I can. There's credit to give, but this one is directed by Jeff Beasley, who directed Never Been Kissed. Not going to say anything there. We're going to just leave that one as it is. Needless to say, he has redeemed himself.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that it was necessarily maybe his directing style that
I don't think it was his. Good. Yeah, it wasn't his problem.
Yeah.
For Never Been Kissed. It was a multitude of other things.
Well, okay, before you go, deep into, I just want to say that I feel like there is a trend this year with Christmas movies where the theme of the movies incorporate a lot of female friends and bonding to make like this united front of female friendship and
it rocks. So you and I are going to have a big disagreement. That's the case. That's the thing for me that's saving it. Like, if the friendship wasn't in Field Day, and yes, I'm bringing Field Day up for the third episode. If the friendship wasn't in Field Day, I ain't watching Field Day.
Well, no, I think that
the friendship's not in this movie, I don't care.
The friendships are what saves and makes the movie.
Yeah.
I just think that it's odd that there is just so many of them that we're watching. That is.
It is an odd trend in that I said this in the previous episode, which I don't know which one's going to get uploaded first. I kind of have an idea, but the love stories are taking a back seat. The love story in the Santa Summit is fine. It's believable and cute, but like it's not my oh my gosh, I wish they belong together kind of thing. It's just cute.
Well, the
friendship in this one is the whole movie for me. These three friends are great.
Is it that they don't feel like the lead character will be able to hold the movie on their own, and so they have to incorporate this type of relationship in order to keep it interesting? I mean,
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't care because I believe these three ladies could be best friends in real life. They are. Suggest that, but they passed for it. So we start out. Let's go ahead and start talking about it. Unless you had something else you want to talk about. You like you were going on
No, I know I'll have more to say, but
yeah. So this is we start out with Jordan, who is walking into school. She's bouncing into this school, and honestly, I think Hunter King is so young looking that I was like, oh, are they going to try to pass her off as and I mean this complimentary way. Are they going to try to, is she like a school, you going to college or high school? That would work. I'd believe it as much as I would any of these other 30-somethings, any of the rest of these movies they try to pass off as teenagers, the 30-year-olds that were in Twilight, right? Like I would buy it. Who cares? But no, turns out she's a very young teacher that's going to a high school to go to teach, and she teaches art. Yes, she teaches art.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of bouncing. She's like, yes, last day.
Before the holiday.
Yeah. I'm just excited about going to the holiday. She goes in and immediately meets or goes to Ava, her friend Ava, who's played by Amy Groening. And
is a math teacher.
She's a math teacher, and she's so stereotypical sort of wireframe glasses. But she's got a little, Amy Groening plays her with a bit of a spunk that's not mousy nerd. It's a bit of a slapback attitude, which is so modern and wonderful and great. She doesn't play her as the mousy nerd that's like, yeah, I guess that would be great. You know what I mean? Like she could have played her mousy, but she plays her. She's got all the tropes, right? She's got cats. She's got a cat sweater, and it's because she's got cats. Goes to meet Ben or whatever, who's another teacher that she's crushing on a little bit that we see right here in the beginning. So it's okay to mention him now. She even mentions that she takes it back really quick, and I keep seeing he's like, what do you have there in your Tupperware or whatever? She's like, oh, just for my cat or whatever, my cats or whatever. And she goes, like cats would have or something, right? Like she backs off of it really quick because she doesn't want to be seen as the crazy cat lady. She hasn't really embraced that with him yet because she's trying to figure out.
Yeah, she's the closet Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
Harry
they
Potter
don't go
nerd.
too deep into the nerd with it. They do. They mention it a couple times. I was like, oh, you're treading on Big Bang Theory territory here, which is not bad. But like, you don't have to do that. Ava's, I think she's the most beautiful one in the show. There you go. How you like that? I said it. I don't think the lead character is the other. Amy Groening's a knockout, but I like tougher, nerdy. That's just cool. So she meets her, and she's already met Ben, another teacher. I can't remember what he teaches. He's coming down. He's like, hey, hey Ava, are you going to the Santa Summit tonight? And she's like, I don't know. And he goes, because and she says, well, I was supposed to go visit my mom, but that got canceled. And he goes, oh, so you can come to the Santa Summit, because that's normally why you don't come, because you have to go be with your mom. She goes, yes, that's totally why I normally don't come to the Santa Summit. And it's funny, right? Really good dialogue, really well written. We have to say that here is that writing can help save something. And Russell Heinlein is the writer in this one. I would look up other things that he's done based off of that, based off of this. So she's like, yeah, that's totally why I don't come. So now she's excited. She wants to go because she loves this dude. She's loved him for a long time, but she just hasn't had the courage to tell him. So she goes with Hunter King's character Jordan to go see Stella, who's played by Stephanie Sy. And Stella's asleep, and she is a teacher.
She was once the music teacher, but now English.
She's an English teacher. She doesn't like it very much. She's fast asleep on her desk in her room, right? And they wake her up, and she's like, what? Kind of like startled, waking up. Stephanie Sy plays her as this super quirky, Christmas cynic, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful because it stands out.
I thought she overplayed it. I
didn't think so, because it's important that in these movies I remember you, because we talked about it in the previous episode. Very easy to do they churn them out. So I'll just put forth my just enough, right? That's not what's done here. These three ladies put forth Hunter King's performance is the main character performance that you get in the Hallmark films. I don't mean that to demean it. It's good, but she plays it perfectly as well, but because she plays it as the one you're supposed to be following. She doesn't go out and have a kind of a cool personality, quirky, cool personality trait, because that's not what she's supposed to do. Other than, when she's talking to Liam or whatever, it's perfect. All three of the girls are perfect. Not unlike Field Day, which I can't give any higher praise than comparing something to Field Day. You know how I feel about it. I love it. We're going to watch it next year. I can't wait.
Okay, so basically Jordan, played by Hunter, is the realist. We've got your friend who is more like the fantasy,
Jordan is not supposed to be the realist. She's supposed to be the everyday girl. She's supposed to be she's supposed to be the get my nails done, and they're not vacuous or anything. I don't mean like superficial. She's supposed to be the one as the main character that you, Amy, relate with, or that anyone else relates with. The other two are supposed to be the side friends that are so crazy.
Yeah, well, she draws them in, whereas the the other girl who's in love with Ben, Ava, is more like the quirky, dreamy, and then Stella is, like you said, the cynic, the bah humbug.
Yeah, they all have their own agendas, and that's what makes screenwriting great, is when you have characters that all have their own agendas. You go, now I care about all of them. Now I want to see what happens. You win, Mr. Screenwriter, right? So she convinces, Jordan convinces Stella to go with her and Ava to the Santa Summit. We cut to Liam and his brother. His brother's Mac, and they're just kind of walking around outside the Santa Summit area. They're already there, and Benjamin Hollingsworth is his name, right? Is that his name? He plays Liam perfectly, Mr. Happy. Because it's Christmas, he's there to spend time with his brother, but he plays it super enthusiastic. It's really weird. He's got a very solemn face. I mean that in like a dramatic default expression on his face. It was good to see him pick it up and be, have to be this enthusiastic guy who likes Christmas and likes people and is kind and, has got that was neat. Always good to see a positive character. This movie's overwhelmingly positive, not a lot of negative apart from Stella, but that's her role. That's what she does. And you can tell always, because Stephanie Sy does a good job of it, that the happiness is just beneath the surface of how she just needs somebody to help her bring it out. Right. So they're there and they're talking to each other. And then what do we learn about Liam's brother?
Well, I think that Liam had just recently moved to the area. Mm-hmm. And so he is the brother of Mac, who has now brought Liam in to work together, in that he is a contractor and construction. And so Mac is excited about being here because he's going to go to these different places that you visit in the curriculum of the summit and try to gain more business with the people he's already worked with. And he can write it off. So any drinks or whatever that they, just as long as they keep receipts, he mentions. So it's kind of like a business more so on his part, whereas I think Liam is embracing a little bit more of the festivities.
Mm-hmm. I want to spend time with my brother
from the get-go, and I think Mac kind of then transitions into that.
He's definitely more the dreamer, whereas Mac is more the let's make this business happen.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's where we get introduced to them in the beginning.
Yep. And then we see the girls, and they've got like a cool little walk-up montage in there. Ava's got on her dope-looking Santa outfit, and she's kind of swinging it. They look kind of like a little, it's almost like a Quentin Tarantino thing where they kind of walk up, like in Reservoir Dogs, when they're like, everybody's got to have like a cool walk-up, and they do a little, I don't know, it's neat. It's a good little production twist where, Ava's got her little, not Ava, Stella's got her little pouty face on, and Ava's got her like, her robe, her Santa robe on, and she's walking, getting into hers, and Jordan has got her I'm the lead character walk going on. It's perfect. And they walk up and they go get in line, and they just chatting a little bit. Ava's got not Ava. Jordan's got a wallet with a little embroidering on it of a house, right? And they're just sitting outside talking or whatever, and they're like, yeah, let's go in, come on, because this Santa Summit is like multiple events.
Right.
It takes place at multiple places, like a country and western one, a silent disco one. I don't even remember, like a little sledding one. There's several events in order that you just go to, you walk to as part of this Santa Summit, and everybody has to be dressed up as Santa Claus, right? Whatever version, whatever your interpretation of Santa Claus is. So they start heading in, and she drops her wallet that she's got, a little embroidered wallet, and they get inside, and she's like, yeah, and we cut back to they're dancing or whatever, or they're about to dance. We cut back to Liam, who's outside with his brother. And his brother's like, I'm going to go ahead and go in. And he's like, okay. And he sees a wallet on the ground. He picks the wallet up, and he's like, hey, did anybody lose a wallet? No one's ever a creep in this. No one ever takes the wallet and does anything sketchy. He's like, anybody lose a wallet? And about the time we cut back to Jordan inside, she's like, oh, I dropped my wallet. Let me go back out, see if I can find it. It's got everything. It's got my stuff in it. I've got to go look. They're like, okay, whatever. They stay inside, and she goes back out, and she sees him. And crucially, they have their Santa beards on, so they can just see eyes of the other person, right? Because Liam has a kind of funny part. He's like, I thought that was part of the deal. You have to keep your, because his brother's like, did you not pull it down to see what she looked like? He's like, no, I thought it was part of the gimmick that you have to keep it on, right? It's funny. So they talk, and they like share their favorite movies. It's actually as good as you could make it in a love story. All these movies have someone meet someone and fall, quote unquote, in love with them in a very short period of time. So you have to work with that. You have to work around that. You have to make something that's somewhat plausible if you're going to make a good movie, that these two could fall in love. Whoever your couple is.
It was their meet cute.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Meet cute?
Yeah, she drops her wallet.
Is that really
he picks
a thing?
it up.
Meet cute?
Yeah, don't you hear like in the
What?
movies that we watch, it's usually like the older couples that say that
Oh, I didn't know that.
that
Okay.
was their meet cute.
Oh,
So
it seems like I have heard it, but I don't really know what that means. But yeah, okay. So this is their meet cute, I guess, if I'm going to trust that you're saying what it is. But anyway,
it is an amusing or charming first encounter between two characters that leads to the development of a romantic relationship.
well, then this is totally their meet. I'm not so sure I like that term. It feels kind of gross, like something like a. So it's their first encounter. I'll steal a word from your definition. And he's a builder. He's got like a Christmas tattoo, like a not a Christmas.
It's a pine tree.
It's a pine tree, but it's a. You could say it was Christmas, but it isn't. It's just he's a builder, so he's got it on his arm because it helps remind him that it's okay to be strong and vulnerable at the same time, right? Like the pine tree is. That was just kind of an interesting little thing to write in there. Again, the writing in this, dynamite. Like it's what steals the show. You either have to have charisma, good writing, or both. This has a little bit of both. I wouldn't say that Benjamin Hollingsworth and Hunter King don't have charisma. I'm getting to it. The brilliance of it is we don't know if they do or not, right? Because they don't see each other until the end of the film. Again, until the end of the film. Because we spend the majority of this film not with the two of them. We get to know the other characters. And then therefore, when the end comes and things happen, we care about them. Like, that's the criticism of horror movies. And it's a valid criticism, even though I love horror movies, is, okay, you're going to have this guy, this murderer, this slasher, kill these kids that I don't know. Why do I care? Right? Like, that you didn't, that's poor writing. And in this one, when things happen towards the end of the film, we care. Because we spend 75% of this movie with those three girls. I watched it again before we came up here to record this. You spend the majority of the movie with them, and it's brilliant because it makes us get to know them. Oh, and by the way, they're not awful people. They're great. So that's confidence in your writing that you're going to let us know things about these characters that we love, and they're wonderful. So yeah, they go in. This is the part that you're just going to have to let this go, even though I know you bristled at it a little bit and you were like, here, you kind of rolled your eyes is maybe the best way to say it. So they decide they're going to go in together because they're like, oh, it would be a shame if you left someone that you just got to meet or whatever that you thought you might have a chance to get to know a little better. They obviously have a little cute, sweet moment there. And they go in. Everybody's dressed like Santa Claus. They kind of have to do this. It's part of the story. They get in behind a crowd and trip and fall. And they kind of lose each other for a minute. And it's loud. So Liam grabs what he thinks is Jordan's arm. And they kind of walk their separate way. And another guy gets Jordan's arm. And they walk the other direction. But they have it's loud and they have their Santa costumes on. I'm going to have to just give them pass on this one because the story can't happen if this doesn't happen, right? And then they get to the bar. One of them gets to the bar. I think it's Liam gets to the bar, and she's like, "It's so nice to meet you." And it's a totally different girl. And he goes, "What?" And he puts his head down on the bar. And at that time, behind him, Jordan passes looking for him. This is the point of this movie is very much a missed encounters movie. It's very much you almost saw her. At several points in the movie, they're walking right in front of each other when they're looking for each other and they don't know it, right? It's one of those movies where we're just going to miss each other. Like that's been done before. That was done in our Destined for Christmas that we love so much. And it was charming. It was the thing I like about it. So the rest of the movie is spent him trying to find her and her trying to find him. Another suspension of belief here. Is it suspension of belief or suspension of disbelief? Anyway, another moment here where you're going to have to just kind of let this one slide because he could have easily at any point, if he thought she was the one and he loves her to death, stood up at any of these places and said, "Yo, girl with the that I was just talking to outside that I picked up your wallet. Are you here?" The places weren't that big. She would have said me, because at some point he kind of Googles art teachers because he doesn't know she's an art teacher. They don't share that. because they're looking for each other and they miss each other. She goes back and tells her friends, I met this guy, but then we got separated and I think he might be the one. And they're like, what? And at that point, Stella is meeting, what was his Freddie is his name, right? At the bar. And Freddie's like a very oddly, like his what's his accent is like from a different country. It's like it's not like French. It's like I don't know.
Like Latin?
Yeah, a little bit like how you doing? Okay. And it's like he talks with Stella and Stella's like, what's so great about Christmas? You know, she's just awesome. Stephanie Size awesome. What's so great about Christmas? And he's just like, oh, you don't have the Christmas spirit. You know, like you need to have. I'm not trying to be insulting doing his accent. I don't know where it is. I'm trying to do it in hopes that I'll remember. They don't talk about his nationality. Doesn't matter. It's a charming accent. So he kind of leaves and goes away. We'll see him again in a minute. And she's bummed that she doesn't know where he is. So we go to the next place or a little restaurant, a little like cafe where they're going to eat cookies and stuff. And Freddie, as it turns out, his name's Freddie, right?
Mm-hmm.
He runs into, is it really both of them? Freddie?
Well, I just want to add that
Go for it.
when they go to the first destination, Ava leaves when Jordan realizes that she's lost her wallet. She ventures back out to where they were waiting outside, and that's where she meets Liam. But Ava leaves Stella alone to go find Ben.
Yeah.
And Stella, of course, repelling, anything about what's happening, goes and sits down at the bar and, like you said, meets Freddie.
It's Freddie,
So,
it is, yeah.
She portrays this character that, is not open to meet anybody, could care less. And then you have Ava, who is, puppy love and trying to find,
Ava's the best.
Ben. And then, Jordan with not really necessarily open to the possibility of anyone necessarily, because one of the things we did leave out was that the reason why she wanted to go to the Santa Summit was because she had recently broken up with her boyfriend Nico, and on his Instagram page, after seeing
Nico
a picture
the Great
of him and
is
his
the name of his Instagram. Did you catch that? That was his name. Instagram handle or whatever was Nico the Great.
Yeah, that she notices that he's found a new girlfriend, and he had posted the Santa Summit an ad or something, or he was going to there, and so she's just getting over a breakup, and
she kind of wanted to go there and then see maybe chance run into him or see him or whatever. Kind of weird that she went there in a part in chance to go see him, but yet when she does see him later on in the movie, she's like upset.
I mean, you kind of forget, to be honest.
Yeah, but like it was like, what did you expect? You come into a place where there was going to be. You can't say you run into him. Anyway, yeah, Freddie's an interesting character in that. I'll do your Pascal Hutton from Fourth Down in Love. He looks older than the girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I can never tell if they were going to do a romance thing with him and Stella, but it's really weird.
Well, but I never got the impression that Stella necessarily needed to have one.
Yeah, but she doesn't even get the justice of knowing that she's got to learn to live with her where the school placed her as an English teacher, even though her real love is music. She doesn't get any kind of satisfying ending. A little bit of a bummer. Maybe a...
No, I think
you don't
that
have to tie up everything.
I think her character was meant to revisit, to find herself again, so that not necessarily in needing a love relationship to do that.
It was to visit music. She was to get back to music where she's truly happy. Forget about Freddie. I don't care if she finds love. I mean, I care that she finds love, but yeah, and that's cool. But we didn't get you kind of know where Ava and Ben are headed. You know where Jordan and Liam are headed. Like, with Stella, it's like, oh, come on. Like, is she going to go back and stand up to the people at school and say, no, you put me back in that music department. That's my true love. Got to have a music teacher, right? Tell that person to get out and put me. Like, we got nothing for her. I'm reading way too much into a movie where she's not even the main character, but I genuinely like these characters because of the good writing enough that I wanted all of them to get a good, happy ending. I didn't just want Jordan to get a happy ending.
Well, I think for Stella, it was her story or character arc or whatever was supposed to, yes, it stinks that you're now in the role of an English teacher when music is your passion, but you
Right.
could still be an English teacher and not forget,
That you have a
that
passion
you
with
could do
music.
that,
Yeah,
because
that's a
I
good
think
point.
she had forgotten that.
Yeah, that's a good point. She had. I don't think she's going to be happy because they show her at the beginning of the movie walk into the room where the music teacher is, and then immediately it's like a half a second scene. Sort of strange. I wish they'd let her kind of linger there for a second. She immediately walks out, smiles, and immediately walks out. And I was like, oh, maybe give us a little bit of a linger. Yeah, we spend the rest of the movie where there's a kind of a cute little subplot, not really, but with Liam and Mac, his brother, where his brother's like, look, I know you're here to help me with the business thing or whatever, but you know what? You're my brother. Let's find this girl, right? That you're
Yeah,
so
he goes
obsessed with. Because at the beginning of it, Liam tells his brother, I love you, man. He goes, very fond of you too. It's real cute. And then at the end of it, we have like a little I don't know. Spoil it. I think it's a lovely movie, a wonderful movie that everybody should watch. But we do have our ending, and it's, we get a couple of sweet moments for the characters, but honestly, this was one of those, oh gosh, this is one of those journey, not destination movies for me. Most of my favorite movies in the world, once they are 3/4 of the way over, I could rewind them. The end is not the point, right? Like thinking of my favorite movies of all time, Jaws. I don't care what happens when the bad things happen with Quinn and Brody and everybody at the end of the movie. I don't care about that. I want to rewind all the fun stuff where where we get the introductions and the good kind of scary jumpy moments. And in this one, when the friends are walking along and talking about things and being their quirky little funny, make fun of each other selves, that's fun because that's a group of friends that I could laugh at, right? And I can, well, laugh with, I should say. Those are the fun moments. When we get to the end, I'm not going to call it not satisfying because it was fine. It felt much more boilerplate blueprint Hallmark. The ending did. It was like, oh, I guess this is just kind of how you have to end one of these, right? Nothing. It was just like Field Day. The fifth time I brought it up. Just like Field Day. I enjoyed the girls on the bed waiting for Rachel Boston to come out and do their outfits or the pop-up vodka bar or all that fun stuff. I don't really care so much that we're going to get the kiss and we're going to get the will they be together? I don't know.
I mean, I honestly thought that the ending was a nice wrap up.
Oh, okay.
I thought in the middle though, it lost me for a little bit.
At what point? I like all the middle stuff.
I thought we went pretty quick in the beginning, and then when we were in the middle where she met up with the taxi driver, but not in a taxi.
We didn't mention him. Dash. Well, it's Dasher. He's dressed up like a reindeer, and the character is Dasher.
And they have their little moment where he explains to her about how relationships are.
Oh, what he said.
Oh, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. He lost me, and I don't even know what they talked about.
Well, can I tell you, and then you can tell me, well, that's dumb or that you like it. What he was saying to her was kind of like our philosophy we talked about in one of our previous episodes. I can't remember what episode it was. He was saying, you go dance on your own. You're out here in a great time at night with your friends, having a good time. You find happiness in you. Find happiness on your own. Other things will come to you when you find happiness of your own. They'll be attracted to you. I said on. I've got this country accent that sometimes on your on.
Okay, so what you just said summed it up in what?
No,
10 seconds. His talk with her seemed to go on forever.
It was like 20 seconds. You're giving it way longer because she was rambling on and on like she would. And he was like, hold on. He had to stop her and give her the quick rundown of it. He was like, you're going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. Go dance like nobody's watching. That's another silly Facebook saying for older people. But go do you, and things will happen. It'll happen for you. I'm doing a really poor job of summing up what he said, but it was really sweet. And he was a very brief character, apart from the fact that he was having trouble driving that thing with all three of them in it because he was really not meant to have all those people in it. I don't know. I thought it was really cute, a really good. There have been movies like this that are more Hollywood movies. Was it The Night Before, where all the three friends kind of wander around? It's a much more adult movie, but the three friends, the three guys, all wander around and on a Christmas party and go from location to location, and little interesting things happen. And that's what this was, and a missed encounters movie. But
yeah, I think they could have shortened it by a couple of.
That's fair. I mean, it's already an hour and 24, and never longer. An hour and 24, an hour and 25. But it's all about the writing. And I know I've talked whenever we find one that I really like, and this was my favorite one this season so far, I talk too much. And I know I do, because I really like to hear what you have to say about them. But it doesn't sound like you, I'm going to be selfish, it doesn't sound like you liked it that much, so maybe I don't want to hear what you have to say.
No, I mean, I know you like to talk, and that's, what
sure.
I love about you. But sometimes, you kind of talk and talk and talk. But
the performances are fantastic. The writing is fantastic. I like the story a lot, but the three friends, the central three friends.
I'll be just curious to see as we continue on this journey during this holiday if I'm keep repeating that once again it's a friendship based because that's going to get old to me.
Is it? So wait a minute, but does it not get old to you that it's the same love story over and over and over?
Well, no, because I think that the ones that I really genuinely look forward to watching over and over again at Christmas is more of the love story with the family support with the one friend. Like, it doesn't have to be, multiple friends.
Really good question incoming. What do you look for? I'm thinking about your favorite and our favorite. I like them as well. The Christmas Under Wraps. Let It Snow. It sounds like we only like Candace Cameron Bure movies. That's not the case. Miss Miracle. Holiday in Handcuffs. What do you like? What's your
I like the girl. I like The Girl Meets the Boy. And there is, I guess, a love triangle sort of thing. Like in Dear Santa, there's the current girlfriend, and then there's the one friend or the one family member that they confide in or they look for in, like, giving them the green light or giving them the push or the nod or something to move forward with, making the connection happen. And I just think that those are, what I look for.
Do you like the story, or is it that, because the movies that I just named have Candace Cameron Bure, which, controversy aside, we love. We think she's great in Christmas movies. We love in Christmas movies, not her political opinions. I don't care what I don't care, but I'm not watching these movies for her opinion. Melissa Joan Hart and Amy Acker. Well, that's a heck of a lineup right there. So do you just like the charisma of those girls?
No, I like in those movies, there is a point where there is something done by the man to make that little romantic gesture. And I feel like when you have a group of friends as the supporting, I mean, I know that there's the lead character, but I'm finding that these group of friends are more the supporting characters.
But they separated it for you. Liam got to meet each one of her friends over the course of the night and have a little cute moment with them. And he was just as sweet and wonderful to them.
I know,
and I thought that was a really good touch.
But they make it seem like the friends, the connection, the relationship is the more pertinent thing in the movie.
And in this one they couldn't, because the whole point was to keep them apart. But yeah, I gotcha. I know what
it was more, it was focused on that. Every time that they switched, they walked past each other or they didn't see each other.
That is a criticism for Mystic Christmas or any of the other ones we've watched, I actually feel. But that is a criticism for Santa Summit. Like, the whole point was that they weren't going to meet each other until the end of it. Kind of like a Sleepless in Seattle deal where they're literally not together until the last scene.
Right, but the focus is then on the friendship relationship.
It is in Sleepless in Seattle.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's why if it continues on this trend this holiday, I'm not going to get out of it.
Oh, you're saying that you don't want a Christmas movie that's like Sleepless in Seattle where the focus is on friendships and stuff. You want it to be more focused on the two.
Right. I want there to be
That's fair.
that building and then that romantic gesture at the end.
What's your romantic gesture? Like, was it Andy coming to fix her office? and give her back her electricity in Christmas Under Wraps, or was it Brady taking her out to go snowshoe whatever and let it snow, or what was your grand gesture?
Well,
Mario Lopez noticing her architecture book and standing up to the parents saying she's actually very talented.
And then he bought the painting at the end, and he
the worst ending.
He
on
kidnapped
a movie.
her. You know what I mean?
So dumb. That was the worst ending to a movie. I love that movie, but that ending.
So,
but I agree. I understand where you're coming from. I don't know. I don't have that problem with Santa Summit. Like I said, I gave in a little bit to Mystic Christmas because it was Jesse Schramm. Kim Matula makes, checking it twice work. I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we each have our own, what we're getting or wanting from these movies, and it's what I guess you define as that warm and fuzzy holiday feeling that brings you closer to the excitement for the holidays. And honestly, right now, these movies aren't doing it for me. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just not getting out of it what I have in the past, which got me involved in wanting to do this. And
so do you need a hug so we can keep going, or what?
No, I'm just going to have to watch one of my old ones. We
can't do that, though. See, we have the rate at which these, honestly, I feel like I'm making you not like Hallmark Christmas movies because the rate they're putting these out, honestly, we're skipping some that I feel like I'll watch, but I can't put you through it because I just don't think you'll like it. Like I know this past week, Mr. and Mistletoe Lane came out, and Everything Christmas. And when I saw I'm not going to talk about other movies on a podcast episode for a different movie, but when I saw those two, I thought, yeah, they don't look up to the standard of. I didn't feel like they gave you the best shot. I'd like them because I just kind of am a sucker for these movies, but I felt like they were. I thought I picked one with Santa Summit that you might like.
Well,
more,
and it could be that I'm looking out the window right now and the trees have the fall colors.
It looks like fall. It's going to be 70 degrees here. It's Friday, right? 75.
Yeah, it could be that right now I'm playing over the Thanksgiving grocery list. It could be, that I don't have any Christmas decorations up.
Yeah.
That could be attributing.
We're gonna dress up as Santa Claus, go to a Santa Summit. I think it'll do it.
But I mean, I hope that I get there. Fingers crossed. Still optimistic.
We can't watch A Holiday in Handcuffs before we watch our next one because then that'll just shine the light on how bad whatever we watch next really is. I'm gonna have to get you accepting average in your life.
No, or I just the other thing I could
spot where you're supposed to say, "Honey, I have you. I can't back to average." You just didn't take that bait at all.
I've learned to tune out. But maybe if I just put on a Christmas music station and just have Christmas music playing all the time.
What's your Christmas music? Is it the classics or do you like modern? Do you want to hear Usher sing about Christmas?
Oh no, it's got to be. See, I'm just very, I guess, old school. So
no, me too. I only want to hear old people. I want to hear Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra. I mean, I can deal with some Michael Bublé.
The 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah. I like Mariah. Everybody's got to hear that at some point.
Okay, so, yeah. Well, I mean, certainly let our listeners, take a stab at it and let us know.
I imagine that most of the time I think I am on the wrong end of these and that I'm just kind of a sucker. You're going to be the minority on this one. I don't know. I haven't really looked up a lot of reviews on it, but the world is going to like this movie. I sense they will, especially the younger they skew. I'm going to put my eggs in the basket of the world enjoying this. It's a very good movie.
Okay. Well, but if there's anybody out there who tends to, want to say that they see where I'm coming from, that would be nice to hear as well. So, all right. I mean, I would give it a 3-4.
Oh my gosh. It's we're on 5. I'm at 4.6.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
4 or 5 because I don't, like the love story was fine.
Well, you guys watch it and certainly leave your comments, and we'd love to see them and talk about them in our future podcasts. So remember to do something that makes you happy today and let us know.